After a brief idea of phase transition in first lecture, we are now going to discuss the conditions for phase equilibrium. Let us consider a system consisting of two phases, say phase 1 and phase 2, and these two systems are in equilibrium with one another. See this figure. This is in fact isolated system, and as the system is isolated, so the total volume, which will be V and equal to sum of the volume of phase 1 and phase 2, that is V1 plus V2, and that will be constant. Similarly, total mass, which is sum of M1 and M2, that is mass of phase 1 and phase 2, that will be also constant. And at the same time, the total internal energy U, which is U1 plus U2, is also constant. Now, from that equation, if we take a small change or apply the operator delta, what we will get? We will get delta V1 plus delta V2 equal to 0, because V1 plus V2 is constant and change in constant is 0. So delta V1 will be equal to minus delta V2. In the similar manner, you can see that delta M1 plus delta M2 will be 0, and so delta M1 will be minus delta M2. In the same way, delta U1 plus delta U2 will be 0, and so that delta U1 is equal to minus delta U2. As the system is in thermodynamical equilibrium, and we know if a system is in thermodynamical equilibrium, then the entropy of the isolated system remains constant. So we can write S equal to constant, where S is the entropy of our isolated system. And what will be this S? As S is also an additive property, so if S1 and S2 are the entropies of the two phases of the system, then S will be S1 plus S2, and that S1 plus S2 will be constant. And so if we take a change of it, what will be the result? The result will be delta S1 plus delta S2 equal to 0, and so that delta S1 will be equal to minus delta S2. Say this is equation 3. Now we know that entropy in general is a function of internal energy, volume and mass. So if we consider entropy S1 of the first phase of our system, then this S1 will be a function of U1, V1 and M1. And from this we can find delta S1 by the rule of partial differentiation. What will be delta S1? This will be del S1 by del U1 at constant V1 M1, delta U1, plus del S1 by del V1 at constant U1 M1 and delta V1, and plus del S1 by del M1 at constant U1 V1 delta M1. Now we know from thermodynamic considerations that del S1 by del U1 at constant V1 M1 is equal to 1 over T1, and del S1 by del V1 at constant U1 M1 is equal to P1 over T1, and del S1 by del M1 at constant U1 V1 is equal to mu1 over T1. Here all the terms is usual. As you know, T represents temperature, P pressure, and what is this mu? Mu represents the chemical potential. When you say mu1, this is chemical potential of the system in first phase. And similarly, in second phase we will represent it by mu2. So in this condition, if we put the value of these values in equation 4, what you will get? We will get that delta S1 equal to 1 over T1 delta U1 plus P1 over T1 delta V1 minus mu1 over T1 delta M1. And similarly, for the second phase of our system, we can write equation for change in entropy of the second phase, that is delta S2, in the light of equation 5. For this, we will have to do only one thing, that we will change the subscript 1 to 2, which will refer the second phase. So delta S2 in the light of equation 5 can be written as 1 over T2 delta U2 plus P2 over T2 delta V2 minus mu2 over T2 delta M2, and say this is equation 6. Now this delta S1 and delta S2 we will put in equation 3 and see the equation number 2, and using equation 2 we will replace delta U2, delta M2 and delta V2 by minus delta U1, minus delta M1 and delta V1, and delta S1 is equal to minus delta S2 or delta S1 plus delta S2 equal to 0. So we will make the use of equation 2 and substitute the values of delta S1 and delta S2 in this equation 3. Then what we will get? We will get that 1 over T1 minus 1 over T2 delta U1 plus P1 over T1 minus P2 over T2 delta V1 minus mu1 over T1 minus mu2 over T2 delta M1 equal to 0. Since this delta U1, delta V1 and delta M1 are independent from one another, so for the validity of this equation 7, the coefficients of delta U1, delta V1 and delta M1 must vanish or must be 0 separately. So now let us equate the coefficients of these quantities to 0. So what we will get? This is 1 over T1 minus 1 over T2 equal to 0, and this ref implies T1 is equal to T2. So now we will put T1, T2 same in these two equations, and then what we will get? We will then get that P1 will be equal to P2 and mu1 will be equal to mu2. So we have three results. First one is T1 equal to T2, that is temperature of both phases are same. This condition refers the thermal equilibrium, and P1 equal to P2, this implies mechanical equilibrium, and mu1 equal to mu2, this implies chemical equilibrium. So for the thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium and chemical equilibrium, we have obtained the condition that the temperature of both phases should be same, pressure of both phases should be same, and chemical potentials of both phases should be same. Now we see that the two phases when are in equilibrium, then the chemical potential of both phases are same, and you know this chemical potential can be treated as the function of P and T. Since pressure and temperature have now same value for both phases, so we may say mu1 of Pt is equal to mu2 of Pt, where P and T you may say common pressure and temperature of the two phases in equilibrium. And equivalently, the molar Gibbs free energy of the two phases are equal, and you may say G1 of Pt is equal to G2 of P2. Now if we will represent this on a graph in Pt plane, or you may say in Pt graph, this curve represents this line represents the curve represented by the equation G1 equal to G2, and in left side of this region there is phase 1 and in right side is phase 2. In phase 1 G1 is not equal to G2 but G1 is less than G2, and in second phase G1 is greater than G2. But at all points on this curve G1 and G2 are same. So two phases cannot be in equilibrium with each other at all pressures and temperatures. We may conclude from this. So this is all for the condition for equilibrium or phase equilibrium. Now in next lecture we will discuss the first order phase transition.